Hi, I'm Lisa,
And I'm Ray.
and you're listening to
This Midlife Hustle.
In this episode, we're going to be talking about our next hustle.
Yeah, we've been thinking a lot about what to do next. We're going to share some of our past experiences, ideas we researched before coming up with this idea, and what we decided on our next hustle is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's get into some of these past experiences. I think some of this, I have to dominate by necessity because I've been trying to do these little side hustles many times over the years and just kind of supporting your career. So the first thing I wanted to talk about for anybody who is out there who's a software developer or anything like that, I've spent you've seen the many hours I spent on mobile app development. I'm a software engineer.
Yeah.
If anybody has any ideas for that, just realize what you're about to endeavor. It's many hours. If you're doing it yourself because you have the skills, it's many hours and you're trying to play the role of all the different people that would normally go into a production. You're being like a product designer, a user interface designer, all the graphics arts, all the audio, even if you farm some of that out, like every little micro decision. And then once you have built something you're proud of, you have to try to market it and get people interested in it. And that's not easy. So it took, I worked on several ideas that I was very proud of. I created an interactive children's book and kind of pioneered some technology that allowed the audio to sync up with the touch. And you were able to touch words, and every single word you can touch and play back and read along with, or you can let it automatically read to you. And it was very, I thought at the time, it was maybe 15 years ago or so. At the time, I thought it was innovative. I thought it was going to go do well, but it's marketing. I wasn't able to get the message out. And maybe,
it was a really nice book too.
Yeah, it was a good book. And I thought that would have kind of led to other opportunities and stuff, but it didn't. I got maybe at the peak hundreds of downloads or so, but nothing ever really took. And I made it free in a time when I was hoping they would get ad monetized or something, but really nothing. But a lot of lessons learned. It's just that the sheer number of hours, I guess I didn't learn my lesson because I tried it again and did the kids metronome that was meant for ADD kids to help, because metronome.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah, metronome therapy was found to be helpful for ADD, and put a nice little kids interface to it. Had some gamification aspects where you can kind of beat your previous score and stay on track and all that. And again, without the marketing, it just took many months to put together. Very proud of the app, went to try to market it. And without any real marketing budget, it just didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Right. So that's my venture into mobile app development, which is a little sad because I am a professional software engineer. It's just, I think the lesson learned for me is trying to do something indie. It's really, really difficult. You either have to have a really good idea that's groundbreaking, or access to a community where you can market it. Some way you need to kind of get the message out, even if it is something amazing. And I just was never able to do that.
Yeah.
I've been getting better with the marketing skills over the years, but I think there's an important business development aspect there that I missed, which was really assessing the market opportunity. How many people will be interested in this particular app? How will I market it? What's my budget for X, Y, and Z? Really wasn't. I was so focused on the tech because that's what I found interesting that I didn't really think about it as the business side of that. So it never really went anywhere.
Which is sad because it was two very good apps.
Yeah. The next was custom merch. And we talked about this in the previous episode a little bit. And so custom merch is something, this is an interesting one because it was an intersection of my kind of artistic ability and just personal curiosities about how to create merch of various sorts. I did stuff that people absolutely love. The dopamine drip of doing something people are amazed by. And then, being able to repeat that over and over again, even to the point where t-shirts and mugs with family photos or whatever, and people being amazed that you can even do that at all.
Yeah. And
then taking it to the next level and I did some custom logo designs, one that actually looked like a bottle of Jack Daniels, but was customized to the roller derby team. Those were a lot of fun. A shirt that made it look like a Tabasco label, but was customized to the roller derby team.
Yeah. Very
cool stuff. I was very proud of that, and everybody loved that stuff.
Yeah, that was a lot of, it was amazing merch. It was really nice.
Yeah, and it sold like crazy. I guess the problem is, I think there is money to be made there, but in this day of print-on-demand services, the costs of entry are getting, I guess it's complicated. It's lower, but you have to share these profits with the people who are doing it. So these print-on-demand services, even Amazon has a print-on-demand service. It's a little bit difficult to get into that program, but they have a print-on-demand. There's several other vendors out there that will do custom merch print-on-demand. So the ability to have these low print runs, that was always the problem I was trying to solve, is be able to make low print runs profitable for these roller derby leagues.
Yeah.
That's how I got into it at all. They would custom order just what they needed, and I would be able to fulfill that order by sourcing all the supplies myself, doing all the work myself, and helping them kind of keep things affordable.
Yeah.
Nowadays, though, there are lots of options for that. And yeah, it's not as cheap as I was doing it, but those companies need to make money too. They need to kind of make their cut.
Mm-hmm.
So there's money to be made there if you have an interesting design. But man, like really, to be able to sell something to the masses, you'd have to have a brand recognition that was like massive. You'd have to have a design that was just so compelling that everybody has to have it. Maybe even hit a certain thing in a moment of time. We talked about, I consider the custom merch, the buttons that I created for COVID. That was just a time where everybody, especially I think there were a lot of doctors' offices ordering from me. They were putting in like $1,000 orders, $500 orders, and they were ordering these 1-inch buttons. And all I did is I took the public COVID symbol that was popular at the time, the vaccination symbol, and put it on a button, but did it well. I just executed it well.
See, that's the thing. You do it well.
My quality.
The quality is
like every
is
image
amazing.
was perfectly centered.
Yeah.
I used Mylar that's high quality, so it had a good gloss to it and didn't come apart easily.
Yeah.
Used all the good button parts and all that type of stuff. So
Yeah.
I the quality is high. That's always been my thing, is making sure quality is high.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's money to be made there. I will say something also. If anybody out there who's like kind of thinking about getting into Etsy, I don't know. Your mileage may vary, but Etsy has become saturated with people who are just doing drop shipping or selling things from Alibaba and stuff like that. It's really not the handmade marketplace that it once was that got it to be popular for what it was as Etsy. There are definitely still people doing that on Etsy, but not the way they were before. It's not like exclusively for them anymore. And so it's
that's
just
sad. That's really sad, because a lot of people who like to do handmade craft that is a one of a kind now kind of gets
Creations.
drowned out
yeah.
by other people who do it in mass production that is not the same quality, in my opinion.
Yeah. But and then you can't blame a consumer if like a consumer's searching in that marketplace intending to buy something handmade, but then they see something from China that's like a knockoff, but it's like $20 cheaper. Like, all right. Is it worth $20 extra or whatever? But it's like handcrafted, the quality's most likely going to be better, et cetera. So I don't know. Etsy isn't for me anymore because of that. I just had there's too much competition for things that are not handmade in that marketplace. And the more I looked at anything along this custom merch for me, unless I came up with a design that was like a marketable design, a brand design, something that people absolutely had to have, maybe a funny image that I can put on, Redbubble or one of these other print-on-demand websites that could really have the potential to sell, then there's really no like ability for passive income. It's all I had to do all the work myself. I'm working for minimum wage, so I'm not interested in doing that. And it really wasn't like scalable business. It's like you're only as good as your last design, and it's going to hit, it's going to make some money, and then you have to be moving on. I guess all business is like that to some degree, but it wasn't a scalable business for me. It's like you get these one-hit wonders and then you're done. So when we were looking at what to do next, we established some criteria, right?
Yeah.
We said it has to have a high upside, but startup funds under $2,000. It had to be something that was scalable to $100,000 or more. And whatever the business was had to align to our passions, something that we would really enjoy doing and have some fun doing. Right?
Yeah.
At this point, if you're following along, you're probably liking what you're hearing, or you're just hanging out with us. Please hit the like button, subscribe, try to help us out. It helps the algorithms, helps us know that people are out there appreciating the content we're creating.
Yes.
Let's move on to the ideas we researched. So let's cover some miscellaneous ones first. I feel like there was this large group of ideas we researched that kind of we just did an initial assessment and moved on. We didn't really do a deep dive into. One of them that you were interested in quite a bit was a food truck. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
I just have this idea of a food truck that me personally, and actually some of our family members also, cannot find good quality food that I'm thinking of opening up a food truck. I think the closest is upstate New York, but also in my idea of this, it would have a little twist of Italian and Portuguese. So, so I'm really not going to give up on that one, because I know that it's one of those that you need to work every single day. But I think I would truly enjoy it. I really do think I would truly enjoy it. But yeah, it's high cost to start
the
it up.
startup costs are kind
Unless
of
you
high.
find a food truck already kind of built, but we just have to redo the outside of it for a logo kind of thing. But
Let me tell you why it's not on my criteria. Aside from the startup costs being high,
yeah,
and aside from us having zero experience in the food industry as an industry, we love cooking, a lot of experience in our family with that, and we love customer service, and I definitely think you have an idea there that it is a good business opportunity. Not that we should give up on the dream. It's just not for now. I think it's going to require a lot of homework, and like you said, it is one of those businesses where it's got that kind of that problem of like the key man syndrome. Like once you're not there doing it, if you get sick, if something happens to you, that business doesn't run.
Right.
And you don't make any money.
Right.
So I don't like that right now. Right now. That may be something we come back around to because it sounds like something you're really passionate about.
Yeah.
But we can't do that right now.
Yeah.
And it doesn't fit the criteria of what we're trying to establish right now. We're looking to break out a little hustle. I'm resistant to calling this a side hustle, and I'll tell you why in a second. This is a business we're trying to create that can make us some more money that gets us on this path to financial freedom. Once we have that, we can assess other options and things that align with our passions or something we want to do. And our ideas may change by then. We'll see. But regarding side hustles, this is the problem with the word. I found side hustles when I was researching this. You research side hustle and you get all this weird stuff like e-farming, play solitaire and bingo. I mean, I'm talking like an article that I saw linked from like Forbes.com and some financial advisory websites. Play solitaire and bingo online and make $4,000 a day. Doing online support or
I couldn't.
Yeah, you couldn't. What? Which one?
The gambling thing. I couldn't sit there and just play bingo. I mean, I don't see that being a low cost start.
I tried at one point one of these solitaire games that say like, oh, you can easily make $100, $200, $500 a day. And I tried it. And I think the key is you have to be really good at solitaire and really good at, I want to say math, because some of them are like they're time based. And you have to like, if you don't respond quickly enough, because they're like, it's like a race against the clock as well. Because a lot of people are going to solve that solitaire puzzle. Like you get grouped in with a bunch of people. And if once you get to the upper games where people are playing for serious money, whoever solves the puzzle fastest wins the pot. And so it's not good enough to just be able to solve the puzzle. You have to be able to solve it in the time allotted. So there's a risk part of that you're not even in control of that has to do with time. But I guess you are in control of it, but you have to be really good at solitaire. You have to play really fast and get lucky enough to win.
Right.
So there's an aspect of that that's skill and high level skill so that you can play. I mean, God bless you. If you're able to solve those puzzles that fast and everybody else is playing and putting money into the pool and you're winning it and taking it from them, awesome. I never felt good about it. Even if I could do it, which I did make some money on it, I just didn't feel good about it. I don't want to be gambling and like kind of stealing people's money just because I'm faster than them or something, And it's not scalable. It's not scalable. That's one of our criteria, right? But it just seems like a get rich quick scheme. And a lot of them, that's my general thing. They were either like remote work, gambling, or get rich quick schemes. Even like one of them was e-farming, email farming or something like that. It just wasn't for me. Well, none of it was resonating. And they're all classified as like side hustles. I'm not interested in starting a side hustle. I want a business that we can scale, that we can start from the grassroots, start with limited budget, but has high upside, has potential to be something more, right? That's what we're looking for. So we considered real estate investing in rental properties.
Yeah.
I think this is something you really want to do at some point as well.
Yep.
A lot of people do this. The problem I had with it is once we get into it, first of all, let's classify. There's several different types of real estate investing. You can flip houses, you can do rentals, even vacation rentals, all different types of things you can do in the real estate investing space. My problem is that, again, there's this problem. I guess we could probably get over it. It's not really a space we understand well.
Right.
Like we have done a lot. I've done a lot over the years with construction and we've done some leasing and business contract negotiations and all that. But it's just something that didn't resonate with me all that well. And one of the main reasons is the criteria that we have a lower startup costs. right? We definitely would need more than like $2,000 to pursue one of these things. And I just don't like the risk. Like, there's
But everything in life has a risk, though.
True.
I feel like when the rental properties, I think it's an investment, and I see a future with it. We have kids, we have grandkids. They'll have something. We're like, once we leave this earth, they will have something, and rent and have an income on top of that. I don't know. I feel like it's a good investment, but
I think it is. And it does have the potential to have this thing that we've been talking about, like passive income. Like once you get it all set up and working right, money just keeps coming in and you don't have to do a lot for it. But that risk I'm talking about is like maintenance. You do have to have a budget for when things go wrong. So that has to be included in your overall business model. You have to make sure you have good tenants, or else they can destroy the place or not pay you or cause all different types of problems. And then if there's damages, or of course you have insurance for stuff like that. But so I think it's a good idea as well. But again, it's the startup for that one is not going to be easy. There's a lot for us to learn, and a bunch of money we'd have to be putting on the table from the start.
Yeah.
Then I think I looked up this one because you're interested in real estate investing. The real estate investment groups, or I think another one is called real estate investment trusts, REIG and REIT. There are these new concepts that are starting up there. Some of them are websites, or some of them are just groups throughout the country where a bunch of people get together, kind of like crowdsource the real estate investment, and they go in on these deals together. And I've heard that some of the better ones like make all the information available so you can make a well-informed decision. It all sounds good on paper, but it's just I'm very uncomfortable with the idea of putting up any serious amount of money to a fund or to a group.
Yeah. I watched a movie. I don't know if we recall what it was. It was very unsettling, and the person at the end got screwed.
Yeah, because it's really dependent on the fund manager and all that. I mean, I'm not saying you just give some random guy money. The well-run ones have all legal agreements, and they're run by professionals who know what they're doing and all that. But if I can't like go visit the property myself or be kind of intimately involved, and I don't know, it's a little unsettling. Maybe there's some opportunities that we'll continue to research in that space, but that does at least solve the problem of there is something that is scalable. I think people have invested a lot of money in things like this, and you can get started at a low rate, but aligned with our passions, I don't know just yet. Like that would be a way to just try to make money, and I'm not sure it would be really aligned with our passions, especially if I can't be intimately involved with the property. So then I started thinking about Amazon opportunities in various ways, and one of the reasons is because over the break, last Christmas break, I started playing around with Amazon KDP, which is Kindle Direct Publishing. And Kindle Direct Publishing comes close to our criteria, but it's a really slow burn. It does have the option for passive income. Once you create a book or something, put it out there, over time, that book, like publishing any book, it can earn more and more money over time. So I did a bunch of crossword puzzles that are actually making a hit every now and then, and I put a certain marketing budget to it, and basically the marketing budget just paid for the books. But I hope that maybe over time, with some reviews, it'll catch more people. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways to make money on Amazon KDP. I did try starting on Kindle Vella. I didn't really like that. There's not enough people on that platform for indies, in my opinion. But just being able to publish a book on your own, it's kind of a unique time we're in to be able to do that. I like that idea, but the problem is, and it kind of fits our criteria, but it's a really slow burn. It to be able to say that it scales to 100K and beyond. Sure, it does, technically speaking, but you really have to make like some kind of hit, some kind of book that everybody wants to read, some kind of content that's brand new. There are people doing what's called like low content books as well, which is just like journals and stuff like that. Amazon's trying to clamp down on that because it's very little value. So there's a lot of different ways, but the thing is, it introduced me to the ecosystem of Amazon. Amazon has so many different ways you can make money on their platform. And the one that I came across that I got excited about when I started reading through this criteria was something called FBA, Fulfilled by Amazon. There's different models. You can basically source items and sell them, like just write a contract to Alibaba, the folks in China who make the items and then send them directly to Amazon, and then Amazon takes care of all the distribution. That model, from what I understand, and we're just learning about this, but it's hard to compete in that model because anybody can do that. You just find an item that's selling well and put it on Amazon, and the margins, as you can imagine, get smaller and smaller and smaller as other people do that, competing with you, trying to make some money, because they all can all just go to that same manufacturer. Then the margins get smaller and smaller. Mm-hmm. Then there's like things called private labeling, where you can just have your label put on it. Okay, great. Now you're taking an item, at least it has your label on it. But most savvy consumers will see like, oh, that looks like the same item. It just has a different label on it. So people are getting wise to that. And again, it's the same problem. It's just a race to the bottom. There are opportunities, though, to create your own custom items. You go see an item from one of these manufacturers and say, I like that product, but I really need it to be like this. And a lot of them will actually work with you. So you can have your custom variant, your custom twist on a product that is unique and people won't find a copy of. Mm-hmm. And now they have to look for your brand. And then you can actually go all the way. And if you have a unique idea that you want to create, you can actually market an idea and have a brand new idea to market. Mm-hmm. So I explained this to you, and I know we're still learning about it, but let me just go through our criteria first. High upside, but low entry point. You can get started in as little. I would say you probably need at least $1,000 or $2,000 to get started, because there are some fees associated with getting started up, like ordering samples. You have to pay Amazon FBA a monthly fee just to be part of that program. And there's fees associated with all this. So, but it scales obviously to $100,000 and more because of the scale with Amazon, right? Mm-hmm. They did a trillion, I think if I remember the data is 1.2 or $1.6 trillion last year. Trillion, that's $1,000 billion transactions from Amazon last year. And there's many ways to align this type of work with our passions. We just have to find items or things that we're passionate about, right? Mm-hmm. So do you want to talk a little bit about like what your thoughts were when we started going through that?
I mean, I'm still doing research on it, so it's going to take me a little bit, but to get to that like exciting, like I want to do this kind of thing. But I think I want to stay in my not comfort zone, but what I know and what my passion is, which is something within the beauty aspect of selling things. But it has to be the right thing, so I have to do a lot more research in it.
Yeah, so I'll take care of some of the business logistics there, and I'll try to find something that I'm excited about bringing to market. And that's the challenge for you right now, is to find that thing that you're going to be excited about trying to bring to market, which will be a lot of research. It'll be fun though. I think you'll see. There's some tools we're going to use that'll make it easier to do that research and see what's going to be marketable, and then applying your own creative sense of aligning it with your passion. But that's the thing. We're going to make this align with our passions by definition, or else it won't be fun. Yeah. Right? So one of the questions I ask myself is, I think a lot of people ask themselves, is it too late? Like everybody else is already doing that. Well, no, there's so much. There's so much money to be made. There's so many people doing things. And if you can find something that just has the right niche, that's what do they say? Niches, riches are in the niches.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. In January 2024, there's this Ad Badger article that said around 46% of Amazon sellers can achieve an average success rate of 11 to 25%, with 64% likely to become profitable within 12 months, making it a viable opportunity for those looking to sell on the platform. In other words, there are people coming on the platform all the time and people dropping off the platform. There are people who don't, there are definitely people who don't succeed. It's almost a coin toss of people who don't succeed. But with a little bit of effort, you can see the devil's in the details of how you actually are successful on this platform. You can't, if you're coming to this platform trying to do what everybody has done 10 years before, when it was easy to make money on Amazon just by putting anything on, just sourcing it. Some people were like buying an item from Walmart and selling it using the FBM as like fulfilled by merchant program. And they were just flipping items, basically buying. It's like, I think it's called arbitrage, something like that, where you buy it lower and sell it higher. Classic kind of market trading type of stuff. Mm-hmm. But that's not working. Like there is a lot of competition on that, and that's not working anymore. You can't just keep on doing the things that everybody else has been doing. Yeah. So we really have to innovate here and do things that everyone else is not doing. When everybody else is zigging, we have to zag, Yeah. And if you do those types of things and pay attention, there's, again, a lot of information out there from people who are successful in the space just looking to share the information on Reddit and in YouTube videos about what they've done with FBA that's worked and what not to do, things to avoid, I think we can be successful in this space. We can edge that 50-50 kind of bet in our favor, and be on the plus side of that 50%. And then the people who win, a success rate of 11 to 25%, that's a pretty good investment. I mean, most investments only get 8%. So even if we were able to grow, $2,000 and just grow 10% on that and 10% on that and 10%, it'll scale.
Yeah.
In other words, we put $2,000 into that system, and every time we iterate, we're able to make, at least say 10% on that money. Over time, that money will, compound quite nicely. But the devil is in the details,
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. We have a little bit more research to do.
Yeah. So private labeling, I think you said you're going to stay in the beauty space. You're going to try to, I think we need to avoid, I want to avoid food and like health related things right now. I think I have some ideas in that space, like for supplements. And I think you have some ideas for like makeup and hair products, but we need to take that one a little bit more carefully, because I want to make sure we understand the legal and regulatory aspects of that, especially if we're sourcing from other countries. There are U.S. suppliers as well. I would be fine with using a U.S. supplier if we can get quality products and for similar prices, or the shipping is a lot less as well when you use a U.S. supplier. And I would love to be able to support U.S. suppliers. So, but we do have to be careful about those. I think we have to do a little bit more homework for those types of items. But definitely for there's plenty of other items in that space.
Yeah, there's a few I just have to research and see.
Yeah, and we have an idea that you've been toying with for years since we opened up a salon, and we were just talking about this morning. Like, you really can't divulge too many details on that one. It's a special product that Lisa is asking me to design for her since we opened up our salon.
Yeah, forever.
Yeah, I think we finally have an idea of something that might work, so we'll save that.
Yeah.
That'll be an interesting little project. I'll see if I can come up with a design that we can bring to market for that. Let's do a quick recap. What we did here is we're thinking about our business goals and applying criteria.
Yeah.
Because every other effort we've done, we failed to do that, and therefore we failed to treat it like a legitimate business.
Right.
It's fine. We do want our business to align with our passions, but we can't just make it a hobby or a passion project. It has to be something that is also a business opportunity. This alignment, this convergence of something we have the time to do fits our criteria. So I would encourage anybody who's trying to do something similar, make sure it fits your criteria. It fits your budget. You can commit to it for a long enough time. You can fit it in your schedule and give it the time and attention it needs. And also that it aligns with your passions.
Yeah. I think passion is a big one.
Definitely.
Because if you don't enjoy doing it, it's going to be like, forget it. It's not worth it.
Yeah, definitely. Or it's not going to be fun. The journey's not going to be fun.
You're right.
And I know there's a lot of people out there just hustling to make ends meet. But if you're going to try to break above and do something, you break out of that mold, break above the rat race, you need to do something that you're going to enjoy doing, ultimately. I just want to also share that we're going to try to put something. I haven't decided exactly how to do this yet, but either it's going to be like on a Google Drive or a Patreon account, something like that. I'd like to try to share what we're doing, like the references we came across, the decision making we made, how we made it, and then like follow our project along, be able to show like
step by step.
Yeah, here's what we're doing and here's how we did it. I guess I just don't know all the details of how we're going to do that yet, but look for that in future episodes, because we're definitely going to find a way to share this for the people who want to come along on this journey with us, and so that you can see how we were able to take some fixed amount of money and turn it into more as a business model. And I don't want to like disclose all the details of our business necessarily, but just like pick a product. Like, here's what we did, here's how we did it, and show that spreadsheet of here's all the costs that went into it, and here's the profit we were able to make from that cycle.
Yeah.
And then if we're able to repeat that cycle over and over again and do it at bigger scales, then we can. That's how it scales up. And if we're having fun doing it, that's how it aligns with our passions.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So look forward to seeing that in future episodes. Follow along on our journey, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.